Um, Good day to each and every one of us, especially to my diehard subscribers, right, and viewers. Thank you so much for always following my YouTube channel and the videos that I did post regularly. Okay, and I just love to to inform you guys that I did change a little on my video content. Okay, so I have this mga agik-ik ni Boss Edgar. Actually, it is a laugh trip, right? Because I've noticed that for you to gain more subscribers and more viewers, you've got to be very flexible with your content. And the way I observed it and the way I look at it, many of us are enjoying and tend to give much and more time with uh, entertainment video. Okay, a video that will tend to make you laugh and smile while watching. Right, so that is why I added another video content. I have this friend, my best friend, Boss Edgar. I used to call him Boss Edgar, my best friend. We are a gap in terms of age, but joke wise we're the same. I enjoy the company of Boss Edgar, and we have some videos in here, and I hope you'll try to check it out. And if you find it entertaining, then please share these videos to your friends, to your families, relatives, for them to laugh out loud. Right. So that's it. Today I'll be discussing about programming, C programming language, and this time it's a little bit different from the usual discussion of mine. Okay, we'll try to have function programming today. Okay, function programming. Function programming is actually this is an introduction to OOP, or object oriented programming. Right. So for you to be good in OOP, you have to be a master with function programming. All right. Function programming is actually you're just trying to have this whole program, right? And by way of function programming, you tend to slice your program as many as you want, right? Just to just to have some ease when it comes to debugging, tracing of errors. Okay, so if you have this entire program, you can slice it twice or thrice and create functions out from that, right? Unknowingly, we're dealing with functions. Yeah, the C program itself is a function. In fact, we started with int main. Int main is a function. Printf. Printf with close and open parentheses, it's a function. Scanf is a function. Right? So I am going to share to you my notepad, right? Okay, it's here. A function is a collection of statements grouped together to do some specific task. It is actually a program, all right? And you're just trying to pick some part of the bigger program, right? And group it to perform a specific task. Like for example, if your program tend to ask for three values, right? Four values, you can separate that part of the program and create a function, right? And from this function, okay, you can reuse this function depending on the problem. If your problem demands you to ask for four values, then you reuse this function four times, because the main function of this function program is to ask for a certain value. All right, and if your program needs four values, then you can reuse this function four times. That's function programming. Now, in a series of learning C programming, that's what I've said a while ago. We already used many functions unknowingly. Number one is printf, right? Scanf. These are actually functions, or the most important is the main function, right? Now, every C program has at least one function. when you create a C program, you're actually by default dealing with one function, and that's the main function. The main function. All right. Now, um, furthermore, a function provides modularity to our program. Dividing a program, all right? Look at this. Sorry. Dividing a program in different modules makes it easy to maintain, debug, and understand the code. Okay, you're trying to group your program. Say, for example, your program is as big as this. Group this twice or thrice, right? And then every function do some specific task, right? So when you are to debug, to trace an error, it would be a lot easier, right? You're not going to tour around the entire program and look for the errors, but instead just go directly to a particular function and look at it, look at the error. That's function programming, right? Now, functions in C programming is classified in two categories. By the way, you have to listen to my discussion, especially when I give examples, because this is quite technical. This is so technical for a beginner. And I am trying to discuss it to your level, to the level where the beginners are there. And I hope you can digest, I hope you can get my points, right? So here, functions in C programming is classified into two categories. Library functions, which I'm referring to, include statements, include stdio.h, include kunyu.h. Those are actually library functions, and it is still a program. All right, will be in a series of videos. Someday I will be discussing about library functions, because we can create our own library. By the way, we can create our own .h program in C, and user-defined functions, right? So function programming is composed of two: library functions and the user-defined functions. In this particular video, I'll be discussing this user-defined function, all right? User-defined function. Okay, now here, for me to go deep and meet the viewers, all right, I love to give you an example, and we'll try to do some programming along the way, right? And then discuss, simulate the program line by line for you to get and understand the behavior of function programming, okay? This is it. Sample. Design a C program using function programming, okay, to ask for two values and display the sum. Your program will be asking for two values and then display the sum. Now, if you are to create programs without using function programming, all you have to do is to, right, make use of printf and scanf how many times? Twice, to ask for two values, right? And then after asking the two values, create formulas to get the sum by way of adding the first and second value, and then display by using printf. Now, by way of discussing, we'll try to slice that program into a function program. Look at this. This is now the program. Okay, I did this a while ago and ran. This is correct already. Now, I have this library function. It's under. I did discuss this a while ago. Library function. This is a function also. stdio.h. Someday we'll be creating our own .h file or library function. And then these two here are actually functions. This is now function programming. The first function is, I named it as GetValue. Okay, get_value. What is the specific task of this one? It will ask for certain values. And then the second function is void display. The function of this void display is to display the sum, just to display the sum. All right. Now here, look at. When I'm going to use getValue, which is actually an integer function. Please listen, follow my screen. When I'm going to use this function, getValue, I need to have these parameters. These are actually parameters. What do you mean by parameter, Mr. Hilik? Parameter is actually a value. that a particular function needs to have before it will function itself, right? So when I'm going to use GetValue, okay, when I'm going to access the function of GetValue, along the way, I'll be passing parameters to GetValue. And what type of parameters? I have this integer value, which I'm going to pass it to A. I need to pass character value to B, and I need to pass character value to C. Right? And then when I have that three values, integer, character, and character, then GetValue will function. Right? And by the way, these parameters, these three values are actually values that GetValue will need it along the way. All right? So the parameters that you are going to pass to the GetValue will eventually be used by the GetValue itself. Okay? Same with display. I can only call display if I did pass single parameter. And display function will only function if it can receive a value, and that value will be stored to sum. Alright? So going back to GetValue. When I'm going to call GetValue, right? GetValue will demand for three values: integer, A, character B, and character C. So now, when I'm going to pass three values there, GetValue will accept it, right? And store it to A, store it to B, and store it to C. In the same manner, when I'm going to use display function, display is demanding for a particular value, and that's integer value. And whatever is that value, right, as parameters, that will be accepted by its display and store it to sum. All right. So I hope I made it clear. By the way, like I said, you have to be very good in function programming for you to have an ease, in learning OOP approach, object-oriented programming. That's your next level of programming. Okay, large programs are actually using OOP approach. All right. So learn function programming, so that when you tend to migrate and use this OOP approach, it will be a lot easier. All right. So here, what is then the content of this function? What are the different statements? Look at this. This is now my GetValue function. GetValue function. This is this, right? Look at this. It is being enclosed with curly bracket. Okay, so int GetValue function needs to have int A, char B, and char C. These are actually parameters that GetValue is in need of, right? And then GetValue is declaring a local variable index. Now, what is this local variable? Local variable is actually can only be used within the bound of GetValue, meaning you can only use x in here. Outside GetValue, if you have variable x, it's a different x, and it's not part and related to the local variable of GetValue, which is x. All right. So now int x, and then I have this one, printf, then enter. Look at this. Enter %d, %c. All right. %c and %c. I need three values in here. And what are those values? Those are the value of A, B, and C. Right? So what is A? A must be an integer value. What is B? B must be a character value. And what is C? C must be a character value. Alright? And that will be placed in here as our data placeholder. Whatever is that, alright? The value of A will be placed at %d because it's an integer variable. B and C will be placed in here because these are actually in character values, right? And then your function get value will then ask for an integer, all right, integer value, and that value will be stored to x. That's why we have this local variable x, and whatever is that value, by way of saying return x, you're good as you're trying to pass your value that is being asked from the user to the caller, the main function. All right, so if you have, for example, 10 that's being entered or inputted by the user and stored into x, when you say return x, you're good as you're passing 10 to the caller or the main function. All right, that's return x. Here, look at this void display. This is another function, right? Here, void display. When you are to invoke void display, you have to pass a numeric value, and that numeric value will be stored to sum. Okay. Whatever is that sum, okay, display function will then display. Total value is %t, meaning whatever is the value of sum, that will be placed in here. Okay. Now these are actually the two functions, the get value and the void display. The get value will ask for a value, and that will be stored to x. Return x means what? Pass the entered value to the caller or the main function. Void display will just display whatever is the sum. And where did you have that sum? You get that from the caller also. The caller is passing sum to you or to the display. Alright? Are you following? Huh? Did you get my point? It is too technical, but trust me, I'll be giving a lot of examples about function programming until such time that all of you guys can digest it, can get it, can understand it, and eventually you can apply it. Alright? So here. Now, look at my main. Now, if you can recall, prior to this function programming, we only have this int main, right? I'm sorry, we only have this int main. We don't have any functions within there. But today, with function programming, this is now the content of our int main. I have these three variables, y, z, and total. All right, and these are actually integer variables. And what is the function of y in here? Y is equal to get value, meaning we are trying to access get value. If you can recall, get value is a function. Okay, now while y is trying to use get value, all right, at the same time y is passing 1, right, integer value. S is what? A character value because it is enclosed with single quote. T is what? It's a character value because it is enclosed with single quote. So this one, which is an integer value, will be passed to int a because we are invoking get value function, right? So our y is trying to pass three parameters. One as numeric value, the second one is s, a character value, and the third one is t, a character value. So these are actually the parameters that int value is in need, or int get value. So get value is in need of int a, character b, and char c. And y is now passing 1, s, and t. This one will be stored to int a. This will be stored to char b, and this d will be stored to char c. All right. Same with z. Z is trying to reuse get value. Now get value function is being used twice, right? And while z is trying to use get value, z is passing three parameters also. 2, which is a numeric value that will be passed on to int a, n is a character value, will be passed to, right, char b, and d will be passed to char c, right? Now whatever scanf in here, whatever x, that will be return x, that will be passed to your y and your z. Now we'll try to we'll try to simulate this one here. Okay, so let's try to simulate. Our C compiler, when we tend to run this program, will just pass it here. Interpret. Our C will interpret this one, and we will interpret. Our C will try to understand this, all right, and our C will try to understand this. Then execute the main, all right. So execute this one. But what happens here? I'm sorry. Here. So when you say y is equal to get value, y is trying to access get value, and what happened is get value receives this parameters 1 s and t, and that 1 is and t will be stored to a, b, and c, and then get value will function. All right. So what happened is this: it will display this one. All right. So meaning enter, then followed by the value of a, b, and c. Enter 1 st value. So in here, when y is trying to invoke right, the get value will then display 1 st value. Where is this 1 st? These are actually parameters that is being received by int a char a. What makes it displayed on the screen? Because of this enter value, all right, and then whatever is the value of here, and then the program is then asked for a value. So for example, the user input 4, then this 4 will be stored to x, all right, and the next statement is return x, meaning pass whatever is the value of x. Now the value of x is 4, that will be passed on to y. So y now has a value of 4. Are you following? Next, z is now calling get value. All right. Are you following? Get value, and then it goes again to get value. Then this time the parameters are 2 in d. All right. So 2 in d. So enter 2 in d value. All right. So it will display in here. Enter 2 in d value. All right. So good as you're trying to say enter first value, enter second value, assuming the value is 7. Now this 7 will be stored to x, and return x means what? Pass 7 to the caller, which is z. So z now has a value of 7. You're following? Now here, look at this. Total is equal to your y, which is 4, plus your z, which is 7. The result is how much? 11. So 11. Total now has a value of 11. Now here comes, all right, here comes this line, display total, meaning we're trying to invoke, we're trying to use display, and along the way when we tend to use display, we're passing whatever is the value of total. The value of total is 11. So when we tend to go and use display function, we are bringing 11 and stored it to sum. So at this time, sum now has a value of 11. Where is that 11 coming from? Coming from the total. All right? And total got that value from x plus y. Are you following? Here, x plus y, 4 plus 7. And then, since sum has a value of 11, then the function of display is to just display whatever is that. So it displays what? Total value is then present d, whatever is the value of sum. The value of sum is how much? 11. So you have this enter first value, which is 4, enter second value, which is 7. The total value is 11. Return 0 means nothing except, and this is now the screen output. Right? So that's function programming. Simple, but so technical for the first time. But don't worry, I'll be sharing to you guys a lot of examples about function programming. We'll be having so many videos in here. All you have to do is to just watch, rewatch, review, watch. Right? It's for you to get the point of the idea, the concept of function programming, right? Because when you're good in function programming, I tell you, you'll be very good in OOP, object oriented programming. Here, let's try to make use of our online compiler, right? Now, this is actually the same program that I did this a while ago, right? I have this, right? I have these two functions, and the detail of this are this, right? For the get value, and for the void display, this one, and for the main function, this is it, right? So we'll try to run this program. Look at this. Enter first value. When you say, what is that? 4, right? When you press enter K, enter second value, say 7, right? When you press enter K, total value is 11. Now here, when we say enter first value and we are inputting 4, what happened to the main program? The main program is here. Because of this one, y is equal to get value. Y is trying to use the get value, and get value is demanding for 3 parameters. And of course, y issued the 3 parameters, 1, s, and t. These 3 parameters are being passed on to int a, int b, and int c. That is why when get value display enter value, get value is using the 3 parameters, and it's being placed in here. And that's the reason why we have this 1st. All right? So this refers to the value of a, b, and c. And we tend to input 4, and this 4 is being stored to x, right? Because of scanf. And after storing it to x, get value pass it by way of display by way of using return statement, return x, meaning whatever is the value of x, pass it to y, right? You get? So if x has a value of 4, that 4 will be stored eventually to y. Then the second one is z. The same thing. Z tend to reuse get value function, and when z reuse get value function, he's bringing 3 parameters also, 2 and d, and this 2 and d is being stored to a, b, and c, and then display enter to in the value, meaning enter second value, right? And in this particular example, we use 7. 7 is being stored to x, right? And eventually the 7 in x is being returned and pass it to z. So going back, y now has a value of 4, z now has a value of 7. Look at this. Total is equal to y plus z. Our y has 4 and our c has 7. That 11 is being stored to total, right? It's being stored to total. Now, here comes another statement. We're trying to use display function here. And when we use display function is demanding for a single parameter. And that parameter will be stored to sum. So we have this display total. The parameter that we're trying to pass on is what? How much? 11. So 11 is being stored to sum. And then this void display or display function displays total value is whatever is the value of sum. That is why we have this here. Total value is 11. Where did we get this 11? From total. Alright? Through display. Display pass whatever is the value of total, which is 11, and received by sum. Then from sum, it's being displayed in here. That's why we have this 11. The vacant blank lines in here is because of the 2% or backslash n. Alright? So we'll try to use another example. For example, 56, 78, when you press enter K, that's total value is 130. for. All right. So I hope I was able to explain the technicalities of function programming. Okay. I hope I was able to to share my expertise in function programming. And if you have some if you have questions on it, uh, try to watch this video, right? And please expect for another video, making use of function programming and using different another programming problem. All right. For you to digest the technicalities and the behavior of function programming. Right. So I hope um, I explain the the program. I hope I was able to I hope I was able to to explain the technicalities of function programming. Basta function programming is it's actually the entire program, right? Your entire program is being sliced, right? For a while, I have this um, technical problem in here. Here, okay. Function programming is you have this huge program, whole program, slice it out, all right, and per slice is another function. That's function programming. Right? Now, in this particular video, we have this whole program and we slice it into three. The first one is for get value, to ask for values, and then the second one is to display whatever is that total amount. Then the third one is your main function, your main program, right? So our main program is trying to access get value. How many times? Twice. And when our main program is trying to access twice in a form of x and z, at the same time x is passing parameters 1st and y is also passing parameters 2 and d. And our get value then display it and make use of those parameters to make our program so understandable, so friendly, in a way that it displays enter first value, enter second value. And whatever are those values being returned to the caller, x and y, by way of saying return x or return, right? So that's it. Um, and then eventually we tend to compute for the result of x plus z and stored it to total, right? And then we did then use display function. And while we are trying to use display function, we are trying to pass parameter also, single parameter. And what is that parameter? The value of total. In our example, the value of total was 11, and that 11 was being received by sum, right? It's a display. And then display, then print if the total value is whatever is the value of sum. All right. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you will click subscribe in there, right? Share this video to some of your classmates who are diehard and wanting to learn programming, especially this topic, function programming. All right. So thank you so much for now. By next day, I'll be posting another video about function programming. And if you have some questions, please do some comment in here, right? I'm willing to address it. God bless you. And it's good. Thank you for following my YouTube channel. Goodbye.